call the Warren County public hearing to order here at noon. So there's one item as it relates to the public hearing. It's the intended use of the fiscal year 2022 CDBG funds.
Yes.
And Danny, would you like to share a little bit about what this is and what?
Yes, so the intended project for the 2022 application is going to be the reconstruction of Center Street in Clarendon. This last application from 2021 was for the stormwater, and the goal is to have them done in tandem in the same construction season, but the Clarendon Borough felt that a complete redo of Center Street was necessary. And so that is the one and only project on the application.
Okay, very good. Is there any public comments? No? All right. That being said, I think we can adjourn that meeting. And then we will open the Warren County Commissioners meeting of October 12th. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So our announcements. I just wanted to let everyone know that the meeting is going to be recorded and that we had one executive session since the last commissioners meeting related to potential litigation. And then we did receive one piece of correspondence related to crime and delinquency. And it was just as referencing Act 77 and the law amending the Crime Victims Act. That says the section provides that 70% of any cost which exceeds $60 shall be paid into a local victim service fund established and administered by the county treasurer of each county. More of an educational perspective and a notice than anything else. That said, is there any public comment for the commissioners meeting? No. All right, we'll move to the consent agenda. So if we could please review the minutes of the September 28th public meeting. And if there are any modifications or edits, let those be heard now. Item on the consent agenda is the finance report. Lisa, could you share a little bit about what's going on with us?
Yep. We have had a lot of real estate taxes coming in. So yesterday we had $4,900,025 in our bank account. We also received our second installment of the American Rescue Fund in September. We also have an opportunity for two additional payments of around $350,000 from the funds that weren't claimed by other communities. So our application is due for that by January, but I'll do it sometime this week. We have a lot of bills to pay for our annual payments to various places along with our payment. So get all that taken care of.
Okay, great. So there are two applications that we may procure $300,000 each for funds that were not claimed.
American Rescue Plan funds that were not claimed by other communities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll
That's
take
interesting. Okay, great. And then we'll move on to the Human Services report. Lots of new hires.
Yes, it's been busy. Human Resources report as of October 1st, 2022. New hires for the county include Michael Furman, effective 9/1/22, at Public Safety as a 911 part-time telecommunicator. Tina Britt, effective 9/6/22, in the Human Resources Department as a Human Resources Generalist. Michael Quigley, effective 9/6/22, in the Sheriff's Office as a Deputy Sheriff. Jolene Ishman, effective 9/12/22, in the Finance Department as a Finance Administrator. Jesse Forager, effective 9/13/22, at the jail as a part-time corrections officer. Keegan Howard, effective 9/13/22 at the jail as a part-time corrections officer. Peter Landrio, effective 9/14/22 in the jail as a part-time corrections officer. Alexander Getz, effective 9/17/22 at the jail, also a part-time corrections officer. Wyatt Lindsay, effective 9/22/22 in the Sheriff's Department as a part-time single-point deputy. Benjamin Polero, effective 9/23/22 at the jail as a part-time corrections officer. Deborah Urig, effective 9/26/22 in the Public Safety Department as a telecommunicator. Andrea Bornschein, effective 9/26/22 at Public Safety as a telecommunicator. And Josiah Hepler, effective 9/26/22 in Public Safety, also as a 911 telecommunicator. Changes include Jillian Hill, effective 9/12/22, who went from a part-time to a full-time corrections officer at the jail. And Jacob Westerberg, effective 9/23/22, who also went from a part-time to a full-time corrections officer at the jail. Separations from the county include Jennifer Brown, effective 9/20/22. She was a clerk typist 2 in the Early Intervention Department at Human Services. She was not pension eligible. Brandon Gregg, effective 9/26/22, who was a part-time clerical position in the Veterans Affairs Office. He was not pension eligible. Angela Sutton, effective 9/27/22. She was the EI coordinator in the Early Intervention Department at Human Services, and she is pension eligible. And Carrie Skidmore, effective 9/27/22. She was an administrative assistant in the Children and Youth Department at Human Services, and she was not pension eligible.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see a lot of new hires and very few separations. So I hope that we're turning the corner from a staffing perspective at this juncture. So, good deal. All right, and then just some monthly department reports. DPS report for September. It looks like there's some work going on infrastructure, connectivity tower project, 636, some paging proposals, and it's as though they have 3 new, as we had mentioned, telecommunicator positions, and then 1 new full-time trainee. So it looks like we're shoring up what, from a staffing perspective, is going on there. And then it looks like planning and zoning is sharing with the Warren County Comprehensive Plan. They had a number of sessions, and they'll have 3 more in October. So that's working well. And then, as Danny mentioned, the Pratt Street sewer replacement project is going on. So in Sheffield, they applied for a 3-year extension. And as far as Tax Claim Bureau, nice to see the receipts in September of 2022 were 498. So the next, and lastly, registered voters. We are up by 64 from August compared with September. So it looks like we have some additional registered voters. That's good news. All right, we have no proclamations. So as a result, do I have
I will move the consent agenda.
Okay, second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We have nothing under old business. And under new business, we have the language access plan that we talked a little bit about in the work session. This is CDBG related, that we have to have some type of agreement associated with people who are LEP, and whether they, we make sure that we are going to serve the language access needs of those particular individuals. Next item on the agenda is, now I think that we actually need to have that approved.
If it pleases the chair, I would actually move the approval of the language access plan, resolution 3225, 3226, and 3227 together.
Second.
Let's do that. All right. And 3226 is the adoption of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise Plan. 3227 is the adoption of the section number 3 plan. So do I hear a motion to approve 3 resolutions as well as a language access plan?
Yep, I make that motion.
Okay.
I second it.
Jennifer seconded it. Okay, all those signify by saying aye if you're in favor.
Aye.
Opposed?
I would just, as a, recognize that that these are all CDBG related programs, they're all kind of tied in together. That's what.
Put them all together.
Yep.
Next on the agenda is agreement with Direct Energy, which is will be our natural gas marketer. And this is for beginning January of 2023 with fixed price agreement. And that's just for one calendar year, Lisa?
To get the best rate, you would choose
Or choose three.
years.
Okay.
Years.
And that's what this proposal is for 3 years. 23,
602.
And so the contract rate is 55.62 cents per decafoot. Do I have a motion to approve that agreement?
I move the agreement. That said, is the contract rate .46180? Not sure if we're looking at the same.
Oh, we're not looking at the same thing. This has 5562.
Today's rate is actually 0.5602.
0.5602, okay.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
Lock at it.
Yep, okay, very good.
Oh, I'll second
Say it, okay.
with the understanding that it's whatever it is right now.
Motions.
Very formal.
All those signify by being in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and then we have the OVD insurance, cyber security for primary leader with Lloyd's of London and the secondary layer with Coalition Insurance for a total limit of $5 million with a proposed premium at $32,655.11. Just make note that lots of players had actually turned us down, and this was the only one that we were able to engage with to give us a premium for coverage. So can anyone would someone like to make the motion to approve the OVD insurance proposal for cyber liability?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and next is the approval of the statewide interconnectivity funding agreement. Commissioner Kathleen, can you share a little bit about
So
that?
this is a grant award with a corresponding agreement that comes from PEMA. It is for $12,000 and it reimburses us for a portion of the amount that we pay for ESRI, which is our GIS software. Approximately half of that goes back into the assessment department because our assessment department actually provides 911 with the GIS mapping. So it's it's a grant reimbursement, but it'll actually hit both 911 and assessment line items.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion for approving the statewide funding agreement?
So moved.
All right,
Second.
second, all right, all those signify in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. And then lastly, the cooperative agreement with Warren Forest EOC. This is also just once again for an annual period starting from July 22 through 6/30/24, where we just assess, identifying, connecting, and coordinating with their organization to provide services to consumers. Do I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second, all right. All those signify by being in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And so now we move to the closing portion of the agenda. Are there any commissioner comments?
So brief one, which is that both through the WCCBI Subcommittee on Economic Development and the Northwest Commission Board, I am working with both entities to do an economic development gap analysis. We're looking at things like micro-lending and wraparound services and different models of business incubation in order to see what we ought to be preparing for with coming of the gig economy and that sort of thing. So I bring this up because I don't have a crystal ball, and if any of you have ideas on what's missing in terms of economic development programs, projects, etc., please reach out to me because I'll be working on those plans for the two entities. I think Friday is our Northwest Commission planning date, and next week sometime is the WCCBI date. So it's nice that they actually coincided at the same time, so I can kind of do the analysis once. But again, if you have any thoughts on what we could be doing better or what we're not doing but should be, please let me know.
Very good. Anything else? All right, with that said, we will adjourn.